What's up, gang? Carolina Jackpot coming at you. It is Saturday morning, and it's this Rivalry Saturday. Be kicking off about high noon. Rivalry weekend has already been kicked into high gear on Thursday night with the Peeing Egg Bowl Trophy. So Saturday, the main day of the games, and here we go. Yesterday, Jackpot, if you watched the video, went 1-3 against the spread. And I did correctly predict the winners. Just got the spreads wrong on a few of those. Nebraska did actually cover the number against Iowa. They lost by 3, lost by a field goal. Iowa had gotten out to a big lead in that game. Let them come roaring back. They kicked the field goal and win at the end. Washington handled Washington State with ease, beat them by a couple of touchdowns. And then you had Arkansas covering the spread against Missouri. Missouri wins 24-14 on the road against Arkansas, who is one of the worst football teams in the Power 5, probably the worst, definitely the worst in the SEC, even worse than my Gamecocks. And yeah, just makes me wonder, scratch my head even more and wonder, how in the hell did we lose by 20 points to Missouri? I don't get it. I don't get it. There are some things that you just in life that just confuse you, and that's one of them. I don't understand how we lost to that crappy team. But at any rate, they did win. I didn't cover. Congratulations to Virginia Cavaliers. They won and will be going to the ACC championship game next Saturday to take on the Clemson Tigers. They win 39-30 over Virginia Tech in Charlottesville, and a pretty good game it looked like on all accounts. I just think Virginia just wanted it more in the end. I mean, both teams evenly matched. I mean, I don't think it was really one thing that Virginia Tech didn't do. It's just what Virginia did. So good job there. You'll take on Clemson next week in the ACC championship game. I'm assuming it's going to be in Charlotte again, which will be a good thing. There'll be a lot of Hokie fans. Hokie, listen to me. Slap myself. I'm thinking about the last time they played a Virginia team. There should be a lot of Cavalier fans there. Should be. And the last time they played in that stadium, they did pretty well. And I'm telling you what, if somehow or another Virginia pulls off the upset and beats Clemson in that game, you will not hear me shut up for weeks after all the hell they gave us about losing to them last year. Okay? I correctly predicted that we could lose that game, and in fact we did. Anyway, getting away from that, it's Saturday. There's a lot of games on the slate, and I'm ready to get to them. Got Georgia Bulldogs going on the road, taking on Georgia Tech. That's a noon game. Georgia is a 28-point favorite over their rivals from Georgia Tech. Now, looking at this one, Georgia Tech has the ability to kind of muddy a game up a little bit and keep it closer than it should be. However, a couple weeks ago, they took on Virginia Tech and they lose 45-0 at home. So, kind of head scratching there. I think they may be down a little bit. Georgia is a team that I think has got something to prove here to the country and themselves, honestly. They need to get their offense in gear. I mean, they need to get things working. They need to get the gears grinding. They need to get it going. You know, they didn't even score 20 points last week against Texas A&M, and I know, yeah, Texas A&M, brutal defense. Not. You're taking on LSU next week. While LSU, they definitely don't have a good defense number-wise this year, and they still have elite athletes all over the place on that defense. Grant Delpit, safety for LSU, All-American candidate at the beginning of the year, hadn't really played up to that level this year. Still a tremendous athlete, and you're going to have problems scoring there if you can't score against Texas A&M. Anyway, he's playing on Georgia Tech. This one's real tough. I think Georgia Tech's going to come out and play well. I think they'll cover the number just barely. Give me the Bulldogs to win. Give me the Bulldogs to win 37-10. 10 in this game. I think you'll give up maybe one touchdown, and I think you score a little bit more than your normal, because Georgia Tech, it's not going to be able to move the ball against that defense. This is kind of like Carolina Clemson matchup we'll get to later. I just think they're not going to be able to move the ball that well against Georgia's defense. So give me Georgia Tech to cover, just barely. If you look at that rivalry week so far and the trend, it's that the home underdog has been covering in a lot of these spots. Louisville on the road at Kentucky. Kentucky's a 3.5-point favorite. I just think Kentucky's a better team here, and that has nothing to do with them being in the SEC. Louisville's had a great year. I mean, they won 2 games last year. What are they? Are they 7-4 right now? I think they are. I mean, that is really. I can't wrap my head around that. Louisville is 7-4 and is going to go to a bowl game. We're 2-10 last year, and South Carolina Gamecocks will be sitting at home on the couch, sucking their thumbs. Pathetic. Give me Kentucky to cover the spread in this ball game. I think they win it by a touchdown to 1 to 2 touchdowns, I want to say. I think Lynn Bowden's going to be a little bit too much. The Louisville defense is not good, okay? Now, they've won those 7 games. Surely on the legs of the running back. A young man's name escapes me right now. He's a really good player, but I still think Kentucky finds a way to take this one at home. Northwestern on the road at Illinois. Illinois is a 7.5-point favorite. Illinois, another team that's going to be going to a bowl game this year. Just looking at them, though, I don't think they're that good. The competition that they've beaten has not been exactly top-of-the-line competition. They did knock off Wisconsin when they were undefeated, and Wisconsin didn't turn out to be, as tough of a team as we thought they were. Northwestern's 2-9. It's hard to believe that they've had this bad of a year. It always seems like they start off slow, and then they get hot toward the end of September to the middle of the season. They get kind of hot. They were in the Big Ten championship game last year. Nowhere close to that this year. On the road at Illinois. As bad as their record's been, 7.5 points. It's not a lot, but still, give me Northwestern to cover the spread here. I think they keep this thing really close. I think they may even pull the upset here, just to let Illinois know, hey, you're not that good. All right, we got Indiana going on the road to Purdue. Indiana's a 7-point favorite on the road. What is this, the battle for the old Oaken Bucket? Is that what that is? Give me Indiana to cover the number here. They went out last week against Michigan, kept that game close for a while, and then kind of got blown out a little bit. I think they're kind of a little bit angry from that bad performance, because a lot of people, I think, had picked them to cover and possibly pull an upset there. They played pretty well against Penn State on the road a few weeks ago. Give me Indiana covering here against Purdue's not very good. Ohio State on the road at Michigan. This is a big one. At noon, Michigan is a 9.5-point home underdog. Now, if you look back at the history of this one the past few years, the underdog has been covering the number here more often than not. Michigan also has played their best football that they played all year in the past month. Okay, but blew out Notre Dame at home. But you can say what you want to about Notre Dame. I mean, if you blow them out, especially here in 2019, I mean, you're doing something. I mean, they're a pretty decent football team. They beat a really good Iowa team at home earlier in the season. A defensive effort. Fell a little bit short in a comeback effort, all right, against Penn State a few weeks ago, and they totally handled their rival Michigan State the other week as well. So Michigan's on kind of a roll. Ohio State been on a roll all year long. Now, last week's game against Penn State, they won 28-17. Let Penn State actually cover the spread in Columbus. And let them pull up, so they let them cover the spread there. Ohio State had gotten out to a pretty sizable lead in that game. I think, what was it? It was either 14 or 21-0. Kind of let Penn State kind of come back in that one a little bit. That's kind of concerning there. Although they got the best defensive player in the country on their team, Chase Young. Yeah, sorry, Clemson, it's not somebody from your team this year. But that Ohio State offense, I mean, they're just you just can't poke a lot of holes in it. This is a road game, though. This is a big spot. And say what you want to about Jim Harbaugh and the khaki pants, make fun of them. Michigan's a good football team. They're ranked number 15 right now, and I dare say they should really be a couple of notches higher. I mean, I truly believe that. I mean, and you got some teams that are there that are ranked around there that I don't think deserve to be ranked as high as they are. But we're not going to get into that because of time constraints this video. I'm taking Michigan here to cover the spread in this game. I think this is a one-touchdown game. I think that they keep it close. I think Ohio State in the end finds a way to win and rolls into the Big Ten championship game next week undefeated. Alabama at Auburn. Auburn's a 3-point home favorite there. Of course, Mac Jones, I think, yeah, that's his name, starting at quarterback for Alabama. A lot of people are picking Auburn to cover the spread and perhaps spring an upset here. I don't know, man. I don't see it. And I know you say, well, there's a Gamecock fan. He's an Alabama nut rider. But no, that's not true. I mean, if we're going to cheer for the team that carries the banner for the SEC this year, we'd be LSU nut riders, right? I'm just looking at this objectively. This is the eye test of what I've seen from both teams. And, you know, I still think Alabama has the offensive firepower to blow teams out, even, you know, without Tua. They proved that against Arkansas. I know, yeah, it's Arkansas. I mean, Western Carolina, I know. But, I mean, they didn't struggle at all. Didn't miss a beat, really, against these teams. Auburn, really good defense. Alabama, I mean, they have the ability to just stretch the field and to score in just so many different kind of ways. I mean, they got the best receivers in the country. I'm going to take the Crimson Tide here to cover the spread in this game. I think they win this thing like 31-20. You know, I think it's close, back and forth for a while. Maybe Auburn's leading at halftime, but I don't see them being able to pull this game out. I just don't see them having enough offense to be able to keep up with Alabama. Just give me the Crimson Tide to cover here. Maryland on the road at Michigan State. Michigan State is a 21.5-point favorite. Why do I have this thing on here? I don't know. Give me Michigan State here to cover. They're not a really good football team offensively. I think they can definitely score enough to beat Maryland by 21.5 points. Their offense will definitely can hold Maryland probably to 7 points, maybe 10. Maryland they just absolutely fell apart after the second game of the season. You know, I remember when they beat Howard like 79-0, and then they turned around, they beat Syracuse by like 40 points at home, and everybody was like, man, did you see what Maryland done this weekend? Yeah, seems like a long time ago. They're not very good. I don't know what happened up there. Anyway, give me the Sparty covering at home there against the Terps. Got Wisconsin going on the road to Minnesota. Wisconsin's a 3-point favorite on the road. You know, Minnesota plays well at home. They play well at home. They suffered their first loss of the season to Iowa, their last time out on the road in a close game. I just think that I think this comes down to. And both of them are, you know, Wisconsin's a little bit more of a power football team, so they're not really similar in that regard, but they're similar, you know, just, I think, philosophically wise, if that's a word, and I think they're evenly matched, really, and I think this is going to come down to who wants it more. Jonathan Taylor, does he want it more? go out a winner in his last Big Ten regular season game. I got to take Minnesota here to cover the spread. I think they win this football game. I think that they're just going to want this one a little bit more. Just watching them last couple of weeks ago against Penn State at home, the energy, the level of enthusiasm they played with there was just it was unreal. And I think that they pull that off again, that same type of energy. I think they take care of Wisconsin at home in this game and win. Give me the Golden Gophers. Rutgers on the road at Penn State. Penn State is a it's either 41 or 40.5 point underdog. Can't read my own writing. Doesn't really matter. Penn State's going to win. They're going to win big, and it's not going to be close. Give me the Nittany Lions to cover here against Rutgers. That's another really bad football team, and we'll see who their head coach is. Does anybody really care? No, they don't. But I know it's not going to be that Greg Schiano feller that came down last week. That was the rumor. He was going to become their head coach again. He was the last one to lead them to any success since, I don't know, the wheel was invented. But he's not coming back. Boston College on the road at Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is an 8-point home favorite. I don't know why this is not more. They come off of a bad loss on the road at Virginia Tech. I think they're going to be a little bit hungry here and a lot pissed off. And I think they're going to smack BC in the mouth. I don't know if you've seen Boston College play. They're awful. They cannot complete a forward pass. They got a good running game, but Pittsburgh has a pretty staunch defense. I think they take care of business here, and they win this game easily. Give me Pittsburgh to cover the number there against Boston College. Miami on the road at Duke. Duke is an 8-point home underdog. For the life of me, I can't figure that one out against Miami. I guess maybe they think Miami is going to be in that wounded animal phase coming out after the loss last week to Florida International on the road. I mean, which was, I think, is FIU's stadium like built on the grounds where the Orange Bowl used to be? That's just sad. That's sad that you look the hollowed grounds, the Orange Bowl, and then the old Orange Bowl where you won all those games, where you had Michael Irvin out there dancing in the end zone. You had the Bermuda Triangle out there taking people's heads off and just annihilating people for years and years and years, and you lose on the same place, a stadium built upon the old turf. That's sad. There's no way I could pick Miami in this game to win this. I mean, they're reeling. I mean, they haven't been playing well. I mean, they lose to them. I mean, you don't know what you're going to get with them, really. But Duke, I mean, has been a team. Have they been good this year? No. I mean, but they've been consistent. I mean, I don't think anybody really expected a whole lot out of them after the loss of Daniel Jones to the NFL draft. And I think they played better than a lot of people expected. Give me the Dukies here to cover the spread against the terrible Canes. Vanderbilt goes on the road, taking on Tennessee. Oh, my favorite team to I like Tennessee. I really do. I like to pick at them sometimes. And people like to pick at the Gamecocks. So I like to pick at you, Tennessee. Yes, you beat us this year. Congratulations. I beat us by 20 points too. Pretty embarrassing loss on the road. We didn't play well in that one at all. But I like to get under. They kind of remind me of Clemson fans. Well, I mean, you just say one thing, it just flies all of them, really gets under their skin. But they are 22-point favorites today at home against Vanderbilt in that old creamsicle orange. I don't know. You've been playing pretty well. But I think last week I wasn't. You won the game on the road against Missouri. Props to you for that. Missouri hadn't been playing very well, and you just barely won that football game. Even though you were an underdog, I still think everybody I knew was taking Tennessee in that ball game. Everybody saw that line, and everybody knew that was crazy. Why was Missouri favored in that thing? And they had a chance there at the end to win, but they just couldn't pull it out. Your 22-point home favorites. Vanderbilt I don't know what to make of them either. I mean, they came out and played well against Kentucky a couple of weeks ago. They were up by 2 scores early in that game and then just totally fell apart. They're coming off of a shutout win over East Tennessee State, which really, I mean, it doesn't mean anything. You know, Tennessee's better this year. I mean, a lot better. They are probably looking for a little bit of a measure of revenge. You haven't beaten Vanderbilt since 2015, and the games haven't even been close. I mean, they've blown you out. That's embarrassing for you. I think they're going to use this as motivation here, and you beat up on the hapless Vanderbilt team by about 35, 40 points. Give me Tennessee to cover the spread in this game. Oregon State at Oregon. Oregon's a 19.5-point home favorite in this game that dubbed the Civil War. Oregon State has played a lot better this year. They have, I think they're either 4-7 or 5-6 right now. Not exactly on a roll. I mean, I don't know that they're going to make a bowl game. Excuse me. But they've been winning 1-2 games a year for the past 3-4 seasons. Is pretty embarrassing. I mean, they've been down around Kansas level, and Jonathan Smith, I think is his name, used to be a player for Oregon State. This is his second year as head coach. And he's turning that program around. I mean, is he going to make them a contender for the Pac-12 championship? Probably not, but I think they could become a solid team that hangs around there in the middle somewhere and springs, 1 or 2 upsets a year. Oregon, is a team that, kind of plays down to the competition a little bit. They really do. You're coming off of a road loss to Arizona State. I know you're going to be looking to right the ship here, but, I mean, you still got the Pac-12 North wrapped up. I don't think there's a whole lot of inspiration in this game to really go out there and blow Oregon State out, and that coupled with the fact that Oregon State is playing a lot better, and they're probably going to be out to kind of prove something to their fans and themselves. Give me the Beavs to cover the spread here against Oregon. I think they keep it fairly close, and Oregon ends up pulling away a little bit at the end, but not enough to cover that 19.5. Final one of the docket here. This will be the final pick of the regular season, I guess, until I make my pick on the Army and Navy game in a couple weeks. Notre Dame is on the road at Stanford. Stanford is a 16.5-point home underdog. Notre Dame has played pretty well the past couple of weeks. They blew Boston College out last week. I blew somebody else out the week before that. I can't remember who. After coming off that I can't get the taste out of my mouth. That bad loss they had to Michigan. Stanford is coming off of a last-minute loss to Cal in what they dub it as the game out there in the northern part of California, out in the land of redwoods. 16.5 points. I don't know. It's not that much. Stanford has not played well this year at all. Been really disappointed. I mean, they had some injuries, albeit I don't think David Shaw's his job is in trouble or anything like that. It was a transitional year for them, but they've had too many injuries along the offensive line and at the quarterback position to be able to make much of an impact this year in the Pac-12. So give me Notre Dame here to cover the spread against Stanford. I think the Cardinal might keep the thing close in the beginning, but the Irish pull away in the end. And that's Carolina Jackpot's take on the 2019 edition of Rivalry Week. I think this is going to be a good slate of games. For those of you who are able to watch them, have fun watching them. Carolina Jackpot's got to be doing some work today, so I'll be watching action that comes on this evening, and I will be recapping. Oh, what a goof. What a goof. I almost forgot one, didn't I? Clemson on the road, taking on my Gamecocks. high noon, Williams-Brice Stadium. It will be 5 hours from now, right? The pregame has already started coming on over here on 105.5, the Roar out of Clemson. Yeah, they get up early over there to get started with that thing. The cows have been milked, the sheep have been let out, the goats have been fed, so they can start doing some radio. They are 27.5-point favorites on the road against the Gamecocks. I just hope and pray for, an uneventful game. I don't want to see any water bottles thrown. I don't want to see anything. I don't want to see taunting. I don't want to see fights, no pushing and shoving, breaking out. Let's just have a good one there. I think the Gamecocks will come out. I think that I look for a trick play to come out right close to the beginning of this game. I don't know what. Maybe a fake punt. God knows we'll probably be punting a lot. Maybe a fake field goal. I don't know. That didn't work out real well the last time we tried it. Well, actually, it did work out well. Parker White scored on against Alabama. That was one of those Bammer calls holding against us. So that was negated. Nobody really remembers it, though. But we're going to try something tricky at the beginning, maybe hang around for a little bit longer than we should. In the second half, though, as has been the story in many of these games, I think will be dominated by Clemson. They're just too loaded at all positions. I mean, they really are. I mean, their depth is just superior to most of the teams that we play, and I just don't think we're going to be able to keep up. I've already talked about our struggles offensively. I mean, I think they continue. I mean, there's no reason to think that they won't. I mean, this is besides Georgia, this is the best defense that we'll play all year. So that being said, I've taken Clemson to cover the number here. I really am. It hurts to do that. It really does. I mean, you guys don't understand how much that really, truly bothers and hurts me to have to say that, admit it. But, I mean, facts are facts and reality is reality. They're going to cover the spread, and they're going to win this game big. My prediction's already been 45-10, and I'm sticking by that. So that would cover the number. I mean, it sucks. I hate them so much, man. I really do. I mean, you don't get it. But it is what it is. They'll cover the spread here, and they'll win the game and finish up the regular season undefeated, and head off to the ACC championship game. Go Wahoos in that one. But that's it, guys. That's Carolina Jackpot's picks against the spread. I hope your favorite team does well today. And if your team's going to get your ass kicked like mine does, I hope the bleeding stops early and it's not too bad. I'll see y'all later. Appreciate it. Peace. And I'm out. Go Gamecocks. Spurs up till the toes are up, baby. Sorry, gang. I left one out. Florida versus Florida State. Florida State is a 18-point, I think it is, underdog. I think that game is in Tallahassee. I'm going to take the Seminoles to cover the spread there. I think they play a little bit better than folks think they will, but I still don't think they win the game against Florida. 28-17 Gators in that one. See y'all later. Sorry about forgetting that. Pushing them out.